Okay, we'll call the Pownal Select Board meeting to order on Thursday, June 1st, 7 PM. First thing we're going to do is a sound check. Are we on?
Yep.
Okay, agenda approval of the minutes of 5/11/17, warrants, mail, administrative assistant report, old business, Shannon Bersati request coming in for postage, and David Kierman, is that how we? Kierman. Shasberry Town Administrator is here to talk to us to discuss the town administrator position. And then under old business, we're going to talk about legal for access to the Tannery land, and we're probably going to executive session for that, guys. Under new business, we have Upper Mason Hill South Logging Project, road fund budget adjustment for over expenditures, and then we're going to talk about the Freedom Bash event that's being held on Jackson Crossroad, and then we're talking about review road crew applicants for a new hire, which will also probably be executive session.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Anything to be added, guys? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Approval of the minutes of 5/11/17.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
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 Warrants. Payroll ending 5/19/17 in the amount of $7,158.89. Payroll ending 5/26/17 is in the amount of $7,903.37. Payroll ending 6/02/17 in the amount of $7,061.28. Notice there was no major storms, all of them were pretty close to the same amount of money.
That's a
Okay.
good thing though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Accounts payable, invoices ending 5/19/2017 in the amount of $11,395.97. Let me see what is there, stuff on there. Calcium chloride was the large stuff in TAM. And this one, accounts payable invoice ending 5/20/2017 in the amount of $1,571.69. Accounts payable ending 5/26/17 in the amount of $26,552.45. This has the Blue Cross Blue Shield, and it has service for a truck and Green Mountain Power. Those things were in the $5,000 range, so they're the large tickets. And the IRS was the other one with almost $3,000. They like their money. Okay, invoices, ending accounts payable 6/2/17 in the amount of $17,286.44. The large item on this is for Water Technologies, which is, I think it was Bauxite they had to buy for the wastewater. What's the big ticket item? Plant, their process. That's the warrants, folks. What would you like to do?
Move to approve.
Second it.
Any discussion on any of them? All those in favor say aye.
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 Mail. We have in the mail a contract for the sheriff's department. It looks like he's renewing again, similar to what he did last year, but the rate has gone up to $35 an hour. I think last year it was 26, it was $34 an hour, so he's gone up $1. What would you like to do with this, guys?
I think we need to discuss it.
So you wish to table it and go into
Table it and
executive
go into-
session at the end?
Correct.
Got a motion to do that?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, that's at the end. Okay, we have a weight permit for Greater Heights Trees and Land Management. Joe needs to sign off on this. And while he's doing it, I assume you're gonna do that. He's got all the right stuff there. But he's looking at that one. I've got another one for St. Hilary Trucking, Inc. What would you like to do on that one?
Move to approve it.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Got another one from RBI Solar, Inc. Joe's put his information on this and signed this one also. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve it.
Second.
Any discussion on it? I noticed this one is, they're saying the trucks are 80,000. Something you're gonna watch for. Because it says here, anything over 60, they need to tell you, so.
And we're gonna start enforcing when they don't, when they're
I had a
over or
motion and
try.
a second for it, right? All those in favor say aye.
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 Well, if they break up the road up there, we certainly want to go after them. Okay, and this one was Greater Heights, which our road foreman has reviewed and
I
signed.
move to approve that one also.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. We have another contract thing here to do with the BCRC. I think we moved on this at our last meeting, to do with the project they're helping the planning board with, which was a total of 15,000, of which we had approved 5, but they needed another 10. And they're looking for us to sign this. What's your pleasure?
This is what we discussed at our last meeting and we approved it, right? So they
Yeah,
just
you
want a
approved the
signature?
expenditure. Yeah, well, we've
Yeah.
got to have a contract to make sure they do their job.
Oh.
Okay, motion to sign.
Motion to sign.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have the sheriff report, which basically talks about 2 9/11 hang-ups, 2 agency assists, 5 public assists, 2 suspicious events, 1 accident, 1 agency assist, 2 motor vehicle complaints, 1 noise complaint, 3 VIN verifications, 5 direct patrols, 42 traffic stops. There was 23 tickets issued, 19 written, verbal warnings on it. And then they do property checks, a large list of what they do around town. Now, this is one of the things that we were talking about, and we've been given information from the Shasberry administrative person that they get a,
More detailed list,
The
what
day
is it called?
sheets.
The day
Maybe
sheets?
sheet.
the day sheets from the office.
something called day sheets.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna put that with our contract thing, so we can discuss that later. Because I think, and the day sheet gives a lot more detail.
it's the officers, at the end of the shift, when I was on the job, at the end of the shift, we call them day sheets. That's your daily report of your activities for the day. And it lists out where you went, what times you were on the road, where you were stationed, whether you're doing moving or stationary radar, what you responded to. It was a complete list of what was done, what hours they start, what hours they ended. So it's a lot more information than that.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for that. And we should,
What?
we're gonna have to introduce him. Okay, then we have, from Jim Henderson, this is the thing they asked about access issues, is for the grant, we're looking for Parks and Recreation, and what they're asking us to do is to move forward on the access, and once that's done, then they can talk about the grant. Okay. Now, we have several letters, which I'm gonna put together, actually, and make a comment on it. The BCRC is coming out with a regional plan to do with the climate economic model. Well, actually, that's a different thing. The BCR regional is coming out with an energy plan that basically meets our area. And some people were concerned with some of the places that they have on their map that show where solar and wind and other things are going. And what they're asking is that the towns itself get more status and in their approach. Now, I know with us, what we've got is we hired the BCRC, which we just approved funding for, to help us write that in our section, energy section in our town plan, so it would coincide with what the BCRC is doing, because one of the things people have to understand, our town plan is written, but then it's approved by the BCRC. If it isn't approved by the BRC, it comes back and we have to work on it to get the regional approval. So by hiring them, we're hoping to make that run a lot smoother. Now, what we might have to do is look at our plan to see if we want to take and zero out areas. In other words, make areas that we feel are not appropriate for these areas that the BCRC has. I'm not sure what standing we'll have with that, but at least then we have something grounds that says this is what our town thinks. Okay. And if the board's in agreement with that, we'll send a message on to the planning board that we would like them to work with those people to see where these spots are that they're concerned about. This is the thing to do with Vermont VCRD climate economy model. And are you going to talk about this?
Yeah.
Why don't I let you do that right now?
Okay, I'll do it. Well, did you guys get some flyers? I sent one to
Yeah,
Linda.
we have one in the.
Want to introduce her, Nelson?
I'll have her
We can do
introduce.
flyers too.
I'll have you introduce yourself
Everybody.
and
Everybody gets a
tell her what
flyer.
you're doing.
Everybody. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we-
this is a much better name. Empower Pownal. It's way easier to say and it sounds a lot better. So the Vermont Council on Rural Development, so I'm Shannon Barsadi, I'm on the planning commission. And we just are almost done with the updated town plan. And it struck me that when I saw this grant proposal from the Vermont Council on Rural Development, a lot of it was the same things we were thinking about in the town plan, like energy efficiency, recreation, community development, economic development, local agriculture and forestry. So I, with the planning commission, and came to the select board meeting, we applied. And so it's not grant money, but it's like we get basically a consultant for a year from this Vermont Council on Rural Development, and they sort of help us to think about what our big ideas are, narrow them down, come up with some strategies, and then possibly more funding. But at this point, there's not really money. It's just we get them to help us make these community discussions happen. And the first one is on June 24th. And I think in the interest of really making it a true Pownal voice, we should put a mailing out to the whole community. And so I talked to VCRD, and they can pay for half of that. And I got the grand list from Barb, narrowed it down with Ruth Butto, and we're about at $13.50 for the number of people. And so the cost for a postcard mailing would be $700, and that would be $350 from the town. And so I'm asking if the town could contribute so that we can say that everybody got an invitation to come to this event, and we're thankful to the Legion for offering the space for the lunch. And that's what I'm asking of the select
Should-
board today.
One of the other things, excuse me, is they're talking about, they're gonna bring some experts for the various areas that the town decides to work on.
Right.
Are they gonna have any experts here at the 24th meeting, do we know?
I think so. I think it's going to be, well, these are the sort of the areas of interest are home energy efficiency, it's on the flyer, small business development, local grid, and residential renewable energy, recreation trails, getting around Pownal, and then local agriculture and forestry. So I think that they're going to bring, they're up in Montpelier, so they're going to be looking at who can come. And the first meeting is really more of listening to what the ideas of the community are. They came and did a community visit in Pownal 11 years ago. And actually, I had just moved to town when that happened, and that's why I know some of you were probably part of that too. So I think there's been some misinformation that's gotten out on Front Porch Forum and on Facebook that's sort of like, this is a big development that might be coming to our town, but it's definitely not. This is a nonprofit, and their mission is community organizing. And so I do want to make that clear that it's not a developer. The funding for this program comes from B-Light, which is called the Vermont Low Income Trust for Electricity. So literally the entire point of this project is to help low-income people save money on their energy. So I just want to make that clear.
Okay, that's one of the reasons why I knew some people were coming. I just wanted to make sure we get out the message, so that people will come. And basically, I was involved in the last one, and I thought that came out very well, and there was some good things that came out of that, and some things sort of died off as it went along simply because of funding.
Right.
But basically, it never hurts the town to explore these options to see what can be done. And it doesn't mean that when we have these experts here that we have to pigeonhole specifically what they're talking about when it comes to energy. We could talk about other things.
Right.
And there is other things already occurring in our town, so.
It's also, I think, a chance, like when we put the application together, we got really great letters of support from Trevor Mance over at TAM and from Bill Scully at the Hydro Dam. And I think it's a chance for them to come and maybe talk about their projects, why they invested in Pownal, why Pownal's a good place to do business. That's really what it's about.
Yep. Okay. Does anybody else have anything you wish to say? Do you
Yes.
want to say anything, Bill?
I just, basically, it's an opportunity for Pownal, and we'll make of it what we will. I hope people come forward with their good ideas. I think many people would like to know how to connect to making their house more efficient, more affordable, and for one, or their property, and what are the opportunities out here. I'm especially pleased, actually, that we're talking about local agriculture and forestry as part of it, because that is our working land, our land base, and more people work in that area than most folks know. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Does the town have a contract for bulk mail?
For who?
Bulk mailing?
No,
Oh, you don't?
no. But,
Our printer does, I believe.
yeah.
I asked Barbara about that. I think when you're doing postcards, it doesn't in the end really, it's hard to save much. But it'll basically be the same design, just a little bit less wordy, so that it gives, kind of the agenda for the day, what the project is in a postcard.
And where to go.
Exactly, that it's at the
And the
region.
bulk mail takes forever to go through too.
Well, we do it a lot of times with Rescue Squad, and the
Right.
printer prints it, and they send it, and it's all
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know if you're gonna be working with the printer or how, but.
I think the best deal was at Staples. I called around and,
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the expenditure of $350 for a mass
I'll
mailing.
make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor
Encourage
say,
the people to go there and
Yeah, I think it's a
remember where
great
they're
thing.
from.
that's right.
They're from Pownal. I encourage that.
Yeah,
To
the more-
anybody listening to this show, I encourage it because, a lot of this stuff, as far as I'm concerned, is moving too fast and too heady for me. I'm a longtime Pownal guy.
The more-
Maybe there's some others out there like me.
The more people that come from all the various areas of Pownal, the better off we are.
That's right.
exactly.
I want a good influx of people rather than just somebody looking for a government program. Honestly.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 You
Thank
you
you.
can see Linda, and she'll tell you how you get your funding.
Where do you want to take that money from, selectmen expense?
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Pick up the cans on the way back when they're
I'm gonna be there putting all the stamps on.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, then we have
Bye-bye.
get back to Neil. We have a memo from the listers letting us know that the grand list abstract has been lodged as of May 30th, and there's change of appraisal notices have gone out. And there's actually one in here for us because of our town check. Okay. Then this one for?
Yeah, come on.
Bennington Wilmington Regional Construction Engineer. Description of location of a project beginning in the town of Pownal at mile marker 0, Mass State line extending northerly along Route 7 for a distance of basically 52,672 feet, which is roughly about 10 miles.
Remember they're
To the-
gonna do rumble strips?
Oh, okay, so this is talking about that?
Yep. Rumble strips, pavement
Subject.
markings.
It just says Pownal, it doesn't say, it. Okay. Oh, so we're gonna end up with rumble strips on the side of the road, which is probably good. Project includes rumble strips, surface preparation, patching, pothole repair. Got a whole list of things they're gonna
Does
do.
it say
with
when they're gonna do it, Nathan?
this. Date, Monday, June 19th, time they start, 11 a.m. Thanks. I'm trying to figure out what they were doing. All right, and then we have public information release. The Pownal Valley Fire Department, along with Pownal Fire, are in the process of using a home on 1139 West Carpenter Hill Road for training purposes. Training is being done in the evening and usually completed by 9 p.m. On June 10th, live fire training will be done in the early morning hours, and the home will be completely destroyed when the training is complete. Both the federal and state permits are in place. And we have a report from our assistant town clerk to do with the fees and marriage license and dogs license and so forth that we asked for. Takes care of our mail. Administrative assistant report.
Okay, May 15th today, relayed the board's choice for signage at the town office to Lucy McNulty. Plantings were completed at the office, and Jeremiah took care of the cemeteries. He took pictures, they came out really good. He did a really good job. It did take, I think it was 8 hours for 2 of them. The blacktop bid was finalized and advertised. The bid due date is June 6th at 10 a.m. And Joel was hoping to do the bid award on June 8th, at the June 8th board meeting. Joel's scheduled to come in for road foreman.
Good.
Chuck Watson came to the office to discuss the telephone upgrade, and he'll give us some options to review. I reviewed the B-52 Mount Anthony contract documents for structures bid. The bid's been placed in 4 papers, and we put it on the VLC website. The pre-bid conference was held this morning at the project site with Joel, and bids are due June 13th, 10 a.m. They're gonna be reviewed by the engineer, and he has to make sure that the bids are to specs, because we're doing 2 different options.
Okay.
Reviewed the worker comp audit worksheet with VLCT. They'll send the final report when they're done. Toured the hydro site last week with Bill Scully. It's very interesting and fascinating. The site is ready to commission sometime this month. They didn't have an exact date. State officials will be down next month, and there'll be like a formal ceremony. Bill will let us know when that's gonna happen, and I hope board members will be able to come and attend that.
Did he say when he's gonna start cleaning up the place and move the stones back and all that?
He's not there yet. He did, I did see them all stacked around and stuff, but he'll let us know. They're not quite there yet. They have final concrete to pour.
It'd be nice to have that all
Yeah.
complete before
Yeah.
they do the,
Yeah.
Before they do the ribbon cutting? and-
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they would.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, all the equipment's on, that's been ordered is ready to be delivered just as soon as, he was given the okay.
Okay.
And he also mentioned when I was down there about the site having a lot of history, and I was asking what he was gonna do with some of the old hydro parts. And, he kinda discussed maybe the possibility of that something should be placed at the Bennington Museum, which I thought was a good idea.
Yep.
And I had seen somewhere in the office there were some drawings where we had discussed the river walk at one point down there several
Yep.
years ago. And they actually had depicted using some of the pieces for, as the sculpture things around down there, so, you know, we should kind of see probably what's left over.
Yep.
Everything's been kind of packed away down there, so it would all stay together. Let's see. Oh, reminder to all sewer users that the fourth quarter billing will go out on Friday, and we need to have it due by June 30th. Current sewer balances need to be paid in full by June 30th to avoid accounts going over to the delinquent sewer collector. So that's very important for anybody that's behind. June 8th, we're gonna have the road foreman meeting, blacktop bids, town website. June 15th, Tom Shuey's gonna come in, he took that date, and possible culvert bid award if the engineer's completed his review. And I have an individual that'd like to come speak to the board about the Vermont Youth Conservation Commission, and they'd like to discuss work in the town forest.
Okay.
Okay, so we know for the next 2 weeks, that's what I have.
Super. Okay. Thank you. Oh, but I have one thing. Arbor's lot. We always
Yes,
put
I saw
flowers.
yeah, that's, I don't know, that's something that was entrusted to the treasurer.
Yeah, can we put that on the list that we're paying somebody to go out and plant flowers? You might as well plant those too.
I'm assuming that it's just, I think what she gets is just an arrangement. I don't know if she actually plants it. I'm not really sure, but I can ask.
Yeah,
But we could add it to that.
Yeah, because if we're paying somebody to go around and plant, that we might just.
They're
well
gonna
just-
be there.
I just don't want to forget. If we put it on the list, it'll always happen. Because our treasurer at this moment might remember, but if we get another one someday.
Yeah, I put your email in the lawn mowing folder.
Super,
for
thanks.
when we renew.
Okay, okay, moving on.
We have everything in for grant applications, right? Do we have a grant due July 1? That was no, that was the other.
We're not gonna be doing that one.
Okay. David, do you mind if I hold you off for a minute?
No, that's fine.
Okay. The access, we're gonna go into
Mr.
executive.
Shannon, we already did, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I checked. Upper Mason Hill South Logging Project. It shouldn't take us too long.
I give you all kind of a letter of my findings.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's basically, I did talk to the town of Williamstown. They talked about at one time repaving it after. The job's only probably a $50,000 job, and he was looking at $30,000 to repave it. He said it really wasn't worth it. We do have the insurance, you know, for the trucks, and I talked to the forester, and he said they'll run them light. And I talked to Tim Kaiser again from Williamstown. And like he said, when the job is done, you know, we'll look at it now. I got some pictures. If it's bad after the job, then he wouldn't be, you know, opposed to going up and shimming it up and fixing it if it needed.
So what is it that they're planning to do this logging job? Don't they
Late
just-
summer,
Late summer, okay.
yeah.
Okay, so the ground will be drier for sure.
Yeah,
Hope
yeah.
It stops raining ever.
Yeah, yeah. We kind of hope.
Okay.
Now, they've got their permits already?
For the excess weight?
No, the drivers that are gonna drive the trucks. They.
No, not yet. They
Okay.
haven't actually put it out to bid
Oh, okay.
for, you know, the forester won the bid, and he hasn't put it out who was gonna log it, I guess, is what he told
I'm
me.
jumping the gun, sorry.
Yeah, well, I gave him some excess weight permits, you know, to,
Remind the people.
we'll see.
Okay. Okay, guess we need to keep our eye on it.
Yeah,
Okay. The other thing we had is a road fund budget adjustment for over expenditures. There was a note from the treasurer that basically was talking about contingency line, moving basically $5,134.64 was overspent in the crushing. $37,991.94 was in the building fund was overspent, for a total of $43,126.58. And we need a motion to move that from the contingency fund, contingency line, to those areas, those amounts.
I make a motion to move it.
Get a second on that?
I'll second
You
it.
want to discuss it some more? Or you understand what it is?
Yeah, I don't see that, okay.
Okay, basically what you have is 50,000 in your contingency. So you'll be basically moving that 43,126.58, which you made for a motion, which will leave us with $6,873.42 in the contingency. And that's really till June 30th. Then July 1st, we start another year. So this is to get the books for this year.
I'm gonna put it back.
Okay, everybody understand the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any abstentions or nays? Okay, done. Okay. And let's, I know our administrator's gonna take a while. Let's do the Freedom Dash event.
Okay, my name is Travis Rivers. Friends with John. We're trying to start an entertainment venue here in town that we've talked to you guys about a couple years ago. Basically, what the Freedom Bash is an event to kick off the 4th of July weekend and to present to the public the Field of Dreams entertainment venue. We have a local band, 5-gun draw, featuring Beth Maturovich from Whiskey City, and a pro wrestling card from Albany, New York, Extreme Wrestling Alliance, with special guest star Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Basically, what we're trying to do is just raise a little bit of money to go back to our investor. We had a couple investors that were on board with this, and then certain things on our part and other things that had fallen through, the investors had backed out. So what we're trying to do is raise a little bit of money on John Bushy's property at 121 Bushy Lane, to go back to the investor and say, this is what we raised, this is what we want to do, can you get back on board? The flyers, we didn't, it was a quick print off when we brought it to Staples. We were just seeing if they had what they could do for a deal, and the lady said, oh, there's a special, so some of the stuff that's not on there, like children 12 and under are free, and things like that. So, and basically what we're here for is to present it to the town of Pownal, and we have the proper state permits that we need from the state police and from the fire marshal, according to Mike DeRozier. We don't need any kind of fire permits or anything like that because there's no buildings or anything going on the property, but we just need a couple signatures, hopefully, from you guys tonight if we can, and just to move forward with, so we can get a temporary festival permit for this event, and then whatever we need to do in the future as well.
So will you tell us where this is?
It's at 121 Bushy Lane off Jackson
Jackson
Crossroads.
Crossroad. And how big is the lot that you're,
I've cleared just over 3 acres right there.
and how many people are you expecting?
We're hoping to get about 500 people.
Oh,
That's what
500.
we're looking for.
I thought we were talking a couple thousand.
Well, we have a permit through the state police, again, hopefully with some signatures, that if we had 3,000 people show up, we're covered for it, so. And we're looking to have, excuse me, I'm sorry, Mr. Brownell, we're looking to have the Pownal Rescue Squad there also, the Pownal Fire Department with an engine company there, and 2 Bennington County Sheriffs as well for traffic.
Have you already asked them?
Yes, we have, ma'am.
I gotta go back to
So-
a meeting.
So basically, you'll have rescue, fire, just to cover the bases of what the
Yes, sir.
standard things are for an event like this.
Yes, sir.
And you're working with the state now to get the state permit?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay, and this is where it goes up past your house and up in the back is where
Yep.
where this is?
Yep.
Okay, because I went by
It's
and I
back
figured,
in the woods there, so.
yeah, well, I know there's, what is there, 60 acres on that side or something like that total?
23 on that.
Yeah,
side.
Yeah, so you got plenty of acreage if it's cleared off, so.
Yeah. I try to get it back, it's away from everybody. And my closest neighbor's at the end of the driveway, but they're coming, so.
Now, parking, I guess, is one of the big issues because
Right.
Yeah.
Jackson Crossroad is so narrow.
We have, another half-acre lot cleared on his spot for parking, and then his mother actually lives down the road, and she's got a few acres,
Yeah.
and we're gonna shuttle people back and forth if we need be,
Oh,
so.
good, that's,
We figured basically that 3 acres is gonna be split down in like an acre of it for sitting area, and the rest is all for parking.
parking.
And then if we need to overflow, we'll do,
So basically what you're gonna have is a ring, a small ring, and people gonna sit around it, or how's it?
it's, it's a wrestling ring, you know, a pro wrestling ring that's 18 by 18, and we have to build a platform for it to go on, and then there'll be a fence about 10 feet off of the ring that goes around to protect the people and the performers.
Yep.
Security will be there. You know, we'll have 2 vendors. We have 2 vendors coming. Actually, Kim West, who here is a resident here in town, has a little food cart or something. She's interested in going. And then Paul Roberts, who owns Marky's Fries down in Massachusetts, we're hoping to.
And you're going through the state for all those permits? for
Yes,
the
sir.
Food service?
Yep.
Any alcohol gonna be served at the site?
We have a alcohol serve safe that I actually just completed through the National Serve Safe registration. So we have that here in case you need to see that, but we have to have the permit signed and then brought to the liquor control or sent to the liquor control so we can get our temporary 4-day festival permit so we can hopefully sell beer.
And you're looking for this, you said 4 days is the,
No,
Just a one day.
just the permit is for 4 days, but this would be a one-time event for now. And then whatever we need, we'll come back, do another meeting when we're doing another show or whatever we need to do, so.
And this is only from noon to 7 PM. There's not gonna be
Well,
parties and drinking.
the
till
gates open at like
midnight.
11, and then it will go, the last performer, we had talked to the wrestling promoter, Jerry Farrington, out of Albany, and he said, well, what's the stipulation? And we said, we have to have you done by 8 o'clock at the latest, just for noise control or whatever it may be for the town, so we can stay on good with the town also, because we want to move forward with you guys and with the help of you guys also, so.
Yeah, we're looking to have it done by 7.
7.
We wanna move them. We
Move
wanna try
the
to get
cars
people
out.
out. while it's
Right,
light
everybody,
out
we're hoping
before it
everybody,
gets dark, so.
everybody will be off the property by 8 o'clock, hopefully.
We also set up, too, is to help with safety stuff. There's a guy that's a buddy of ours who does shuttles to, like taxi cab service, and he's said he'd be willing to come in and do that, so anybody that is deemed drink too much or anything like that, we'll give them a shuttle ride home and they can come back, pick the cars up.
good. Other questions from the board?
What kind of a permit do they need from us?
Basically, what they need from us is an agreement. The state permit requires that the legislative body approves the event. That's basically what it comes to. So we're okay with having it in our town.
And just a couple signatures tonight, hopefully.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
By the way, I like that shirt. It looks very nice on you, and your hair looks lovely tonight.
It's not
That'll
gonna
get you a point.
It's not gonna get you anywhere.
And I can,
Nice try. I thought, is there something written
No,
on
no,
my shirt?
I'm just playing.
be nice. Basically, what we will do tonight, usually what we do is,
It just says like an approval, and it just says approval by it.
okay. Yeah, this is the Vermont thing, and they certify the information, this is true, complete signature, applicant date, this check, town or city clerk signature, town, city date. Okay, we'll pass this around, let people see it. This goes to the Vermont Liquor Control, right? So this is
Yes.
for the liquor control
And
part
then
of
we
it.
have another permit from the state police,
This
which
is the one
covers,
that states, the state police one, and it just says basically a signed copy, which we're gonna get all the signed copies from fire department EMS. And then it just says one from the town saying it was, organization was okay.
Yeah, what I would recommend the board to do is to make a motion that Linda writes something up, which will state whatever that is, and then approve my signature to that, and when it's written up, then I can sign it and she'll have it and you can pick it up from her.
Okay.
But that's if they move forward with this.
Okay, so these are applications, but they're not approved yet or not signed yet?
negative, ma'am. They have to be approved from the town first, and then once that is approved, then it goes to the liquor control or the state police, and then they write off on it as well, saying, oh, okay, cool, you signed off on it, they're okay with it, we're gonna give them the permits to do this.
Okay.
And the permits have to be in 15 days prior to the event, so that's why
They
we
do?
wanted to
Okay.
come to the show tonight, or excuse me, the meeting tonight, in hopes to get signatures this evening for the show for us, so.
Nelson? Matter of fact, I'm just
Sure.
curious how many workers, employees, or staff you're gonna have.
Right now, we're at the vicinity of about 30 to 40 people helping out with us. For security, we have a gentleman that works at the Red Herring in Williamstown, who is a doorman who checks IDs. He's actually certified for that. He will be checking the IDs for us and the liquor control already told us that there will be an undercover agent there anyway, so we're just gonna cover our rear end anyway.
Said at
so-
least two.
So,
Maybe it says on there, but people might like to know, what does it cost to go?
if you go online right now, there's, on the flyers that we have here, there's some of the info on that. But you could go to eventbrite.com and click in Freedom Bash in the search engine, and it brings it up. And then there's two separate things. There's one for Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and his agent has some stuff set up for like autograph things and like that. But our tickets are $28 online. And the other thing is a portion of the proceeds will go to the helping out the local veterans as well. We can set that up through the town, however we need to do that. But the tickets are $28 online.
Talk to Bruce.
The meet and greet with Hacksaw is another additional $40 on top of that to go backstage with him, and it's kind of like a VIP, double signature, double autograph, double picture. Hey, cool! I get to hug you. You're old and you're still wrestling type of thing, you know. So it's kind of one of those things. And then Veterans, the day of the show, it's 25 with ID, get in, and then at the day of the show, it's 35
For general.
for general admission for both shows.
Okay.
You probably already said this, but did you mention the sheriff's department would be there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep. At least two. And when we talked to the state police, we asked them, "Do you guys do the road detail?" And they're like, "Man, we don't really do much anymore." And we're like, "Oh, okay." So
If it goes over 2,000 people, then they'll send somebody down, I said.
right.
If it's
And
not
I'll-
over 2,000, then
Your
they're.
insurance coverage is, what your liability?
Yes.
coverage
Yep.
is?
Yep.
Can you handle 2,000 people? With three, eight?
I think we can. We got more people if we need it. Everybody's asking to work there, so.
Yes.
We got plenty
Yes,
of
we
people. I
can.
think we can do that. And then the sheriffs will have more. They said if we needed more, they'd put more guys on, so.
Okay. The person to see at our Legion will be Bruce. So if
Okay.
you want to do anything with the local veterans, he's
Yep.
the person that can probably contact or get you in contact with the right people
Okay.
Absolutely.
and basically move that way. What other questions? Anybody have any other questions?
I have some more. Yes.
Okay, so basically, at this point, I would, if the board wishes to approve and move forward on this, that you make a motion that Linda drafts up a letter stating that the selectmen approve of this event, and then, and that I sign it.
Approve as long as all the permits are signed and we have copies
Whichever
of
way you
them.
want to word it.
Sure. That's why we're here. So
Yeah.
whatever we need to
I
do.
make a motion, Linda, write up a letter there
Support it.
to support it. 'Cause it doesn't matter to me, I'm happy with it. The rest of you,
I'll second
rest of
it.
you people.
I'll second it.
Okay,
Yeah, and if that, when the permits come through, we'll make a copy of those
Right.
and bring them.
Sure. Whatever you guys need.
Fine.
Absolutely.
We have
we
a
can put them in our folder, and
Sure.
then if you come again next time, we'll.
Yeah,
show where-
absolutely.
Yeah,
We-
we gotta cover ourselves too.
Well, absolutely. We want to continue to do things like this, and we want to work the best that we can with the town of Pownal and its people, and bring what we can for the community also. So it's
Well, and you said you're working with the neighbors and some of the neighbors
Absolutely.
are helping,
Yep.
so, which is
My
good.
neighbors are gonna be there,
Okay, So,
working it too.
so I got a motion and I got a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now, what's this one here that you wanted us to sign?
That's
So
the liquor.
we'll draft something and see that
That's for
I
liquor.
sign it. I'll sign it. You can get it done tomorrow, or I'll sign it on Sunday, and then they can pick it up, make a copy, whatever. This is to do with the liquor control.
Yep.
And it talks about town city clerk's signature. Isn't this for the clerk to sign?
Does the board need to, is there a place on there for the board?
They got a place where they have to sign, where they certify that the application is full and true and complete. And I don't see anything on
Don't we
it.
normally sign liquor licenses?
Not all of them.
Okay.
No, they usually go through the clerk.
This
I have
is-
no
this is
trouble-
like
Not
a
if they're,
festival,
not
just
if
a
they're like
festival
outdoor
permit, so,
ones,
yeah.
like when
Now,
Bruce.
doesn't this
got
have
one.
to be sent to the state after we sign it?
Well, it says on here, town city clerk signature.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
but
why I'm saying, and where did you get this from? You got this from the Department of
Off the
Liquor
website,
Control.
Right.
yeah.
So I have no trouble with us, someone making a motion that we initial it, that we're okay with it, if that's what you want to do from our point of view, but it really needs to be signed by our clerk. I would say leave it with Linda and let it,
Okay.
the clerk's in tomorrow, and let her do it. And I don't know what the fee is.
It's 125, I saw it on the.
Yeah,
Yes.
25.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's the liquor control. Now, when she signs these things and send them up, she records them, I assume, so there's probably a recording fee or a copy or something, but that's the clerk's
Yes, of
business.
Sure,
course,
sure.
yeah.
It's not mine,
So you
so.
want that one too to review and?
That's the permit for,
That's
if we're
just
we're
for the
expecting
sheriff,
500, but if we
state.
have more than that, then that permit covers us. We need just, and all that is just calling the sheriff that day and saying, holy cow, we have 3,000 people, and he calls in 2 more sheriffs or the VSP or whatever needs to happen at that point.
We're
Should
gonna
there be a
get
limit
letters
on
from
how
us.
many?
According to the state fire marshal, when we talked to Mike DeRozier, what he said was, for buildings and fields, the magic number is 7, and you divide that by the square footage. And an acre is 200 by 200, so that would be roughly about 6,500 people per acre, is what he was said. Or whatever the square footage of the building is, or if we have a tent, that's how many people, and then per 200 people, we have to have fire extinguishers within walking distance on each
So you're gonna
end.
have porta potties and all that?
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yep. According to the state police, we have to have 1 porta potty per 100 people for 8 hours. We have 12 porta potties coming. So, and the company that we're dealing with right now is 20 minutes away, and said if you need me, I can be there with 10 more or 12 more or whatever you need, and have a cleaning truck on standby as well. So.
We'll have handicap parking accessible right next to it. We got that there, and porta potties are handicap accessible. Have both of them in.
Okay.
But again, some of the things aren't on there, like children 12 and under are free, and
If you want to take a look at that, you can pass it down through, but it basically outlines everything that you was just saying that goes in with the application. And what would be attached to this is our letter.
sure.
And then this, I assume, would be sent separate to the Department of Liquor Control. It
Yes.
doesn't go to the state police.
And the 50/50 raffle, half of that goes to you for, it's not
we're-
to a
With
benefit or anything.
we're doing $1 off the tickets to, we need to talk with this gentleman here and set up what we need to do for the veterans. And then the 50/50, we were talking about doing the veterans thing this time, and then next time maybe to the fire department or
Okay.
to whatever. But this time we were looking at doing it just because it's 4th of July weekend, so.
Do you want to leave this with Linda so she can give it to the clerk, this liquor?
Yeah.
Sure,
that'd be
absolutely,
good.
yes.
I can come in Sunday or something.
Well, yeah, tomorrow she'll be dealing with that because that's when the town clerk's here. So. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Well, I'll let you guys look through that.
You guys
Go
are
ahead.
gonna have to sign that.
Whatever you need us to do, we didn't want to do it
Yeah, I
yet
can't give it to the clerk. without
until
signature.
we knew that we were okay with that. If you have a pen, I'll do that right now.
Yeah. She'd be calling you saying, hey, I
Yeah,
can't
she
do
wouldn't be
anything.
able to do it.
Already fine there. You want us to put the date on there also?
Yeah, if there's a place for you to put it.
6-1, right?
Yep. Doesn't have to be notarized or anything, right?
I don't know if it does or not.
It didn't say.
It didn't say that it did. I mean, I guess if you
does.
We
did.
have a notary here, but I
Okay.
don't think it-
Okay.
I don't think it has
Here's
to
your
be.
pen, ma'am.
Okay,
And the only thing that, that I do notice on here, you need to check approve or disapprove by the board, so we're gonna put approved.
yeah,
I'm just gonna put Nelson and B, okay?
yeah. Yeah, just say see attached or something like that, because they're gonna attach that, whatever the letter is to it. Okay.
Bruce, correct? When can we get together with you to figure out how we go about?
Anytime.
Okay, and you're at the Legion right here, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm listed in the book.
okay, we'll find you.
They have a way of contacting if you go there anyways.
Well, I'm a combat veteran myself, so
Yeah.
it's,
Okay, any other questions about this? If not, I'm gonna move on. We thank you for coming in.
well, thank you very much for having us. Absolutely, thank you for your time.
Take care.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, Bruce, nice to meet you, sir. Thank
Hi,
you.
John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure, I'll see you soon.
Yes, you will. I'm sorry, John. Take care, gentlemen. I'll get you those flyers, too.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
See you soon.
See you later.
Bring some clips right back.
Thank you very much.
Bring it back, they'll put it up on Cat TV for you. Okay, David,
Sorry, David, we kept you so
No,
long.
it's fine, it's fine.
give you an opportunity to see how we try to manage things.
It looks similar.
Okay, if you would introduce yourself, and if you want to, you can come up to the table, you can sit wherever you're comfortable.
I've grown accustomed to here, so I
Okay.
So here.
And state who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Dave Kiernan. I'm town administrator from Shaftesbury.
Okay. Could you explain to us a little bit of what the duties and functions you do there in that position? We're trying to start with, we're trying to decide what we need and where we should go.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to get an idea of what other towns are doing.
I think if you look in the general sense.
Excuse me, folks, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you look broadly across the state, the job, whatever the administrative officer is, the chief administrative officer of the town, they vary in all kinds of functions. From being a full manager, which has some legal statutory language in it, to administrator who will, every department will report to them. You can be the road commissioner also. The manager is automatically the road commissioner. Administrator can oversee the public works department. Basically, an administrator can be any function you want, as broad or as narrow as you want it to be. By statute, a manager has specific functions and specific duties, and everybody does report to them. But you'll see some towns that have administrators that are also the zoning officer, the delinquent tax collector, the water bill collector. You'll see him as the emergency management director. So there's a whole bunch of things that can be rolled into the job. In my case, basically all the departments report back to me, and then I go to the select board. It's a way of keeping order and track of what's going on, and a focal point for people who are trying to do business with the town too. And it also gives a position there where people can come in and be there, because a lot of the selectmen, and I'm sure here too, the same thing, you have other things going on, you're working, and it's difficult to keep up with the many different things that go on in the town today on a part-time basis. And then you have, instead of a focal point, you have 5 different people who might be operating in 5 different sectors, and it becomes a communications issue, and tends to sometimes slow things down. But you don't lose any control either. I think that's one thing that comes up a lot, but one selectman and I talk nearly every morning I'm in at 7, I like the mornings, and he'll be on the phone at 10 after, and I speak to the chair, comes in 3 or 4 times a week, and we communicate by email a lot, and I'm rarely out of touch because I travel with my laptop. The first thing I did was get rid of the desktop and get a laptop, because I like to work from home and from when I'm away. I like to keep in touch, and I don't like coming back to big things going on while I was away. But the job itself, you can make it, like I said, it's a broad scope. It's like an empty canvas. What is it that you need to do to get the town organized? And if you look at it as in a business sense, it's to organize it to increase efficiency and to basically to stabilize or lower taxes. I mean, that's the ultimate goal of well, in my viewpoint of the government. But you know, it coordinates a lot. That's the big thing. Coordinates and looks for savings that, because I can look at the broad scope of everything, I can see areas that we can trim and things we can pull in that it's harder to see from, you know, a broad oversight.
Are you appointed or elected?
Oh, appointed. All managers are appointed. And that's, you know, another interesting aspect of it, because as elected officials, as selectmen, which I've been also, you can't turn over some roles. Like, I can't sign a check. I can't approve checks. Everything you did here, I can enter contracts when I bring them to the board to be approved. They vote for it. They sign the checks. No check can be signed unless it goes the same process. None of this changes. Everything you did here in the whole beginning doesn't change, because none of those roles can be given up by a board. You just have someone who can operate to try and make all the operations more efficient. And we're going through a lot of changes now. We just created the Public Works Department we had a lot of retirements, and the Water Department all wants to leave. So we're making it a Public Works Department. We're combining it all into one unit, and that's going to have a lot of economies of scale. We'll have a little rough start, but you know, when it gets going, it'll pay off for the town in the long run.
You talked a little bit about, you've been a selectman and in this, how long you been administrator of a town?
It's the 3.5 years I've been with Shaftesbury. Before that, I was I was the zoning administrator for Shaftesbury and Sunderland. I was on the select board in Sunderland, the planning commission in Sunderland. Retired out of law enforcement in New Jersey, where I was everything from a detective bureau commander to national accreditation manager to name it. And I had like every role in it.
Yep. Okay.
And the other thing is, you know, one thing you'll be looking for too, I have a bachelor's degree in management and just didn't write my thesis, so I'd have a master's in public administration. So there's something you want to look for if you're going to move forward is the background, experience. Coming in to a town as the first person coming in, you're going to need to pick the right person. You know, you're going to have somebody with a little experience and backgrounds, and coordinating everything, walking in with it not organized the correct way for an administrative type position. It's going to take the right person.
Do you do, when you talked about this, you talked about people having all kinds of jobs in their basket. What jobs do you perform in Shaftesbury other than just you said you go out and you look at contracts and other stuff and brings it in front of people. Do you do anything like collect the taxes or any of that stuff?
In Shaftesbury, we don't do that right now, but what I do in the course of the week is basically every department reports back to me. In a normal week, like this week, we had a cemetery meeting today. We just bought a cemetery, and then we have all the contracts with the trucks. I work a lot with our Public Works Department. Again, right now we're trying to build a town garage. I'm trying to renovate Cole Hall. We're integrating the Water Department into Public Works. So there's always something. If you're always looking for ways to save money and to make things more efficient, there's lots of things that can keep you busy. And then there's just the day-to-day grants.
I was just going to ask, do you do the
business
grants
of the
and
town.
the
I do the
day-to-day
grants, and I do all the monitor the grants. And when you have, especially if you have federal dollars involved, it gets to be a grueling process of paperwork. But you know, it's keeping your eye out for grants. It's keeping your eye out on every way you can save some money for the town.
Do you have a secretary too?
No, I did when I started. I don't have one anymore. I saved some money. I did it myself. So, and I find mostly, again, because I like communicating over, with emails. It just when you set up an arrangement with people, you can get a lot of stuff done quickly, just by emails and getting what you need done. I had an administrative assistant. I moved that off to give the new clerk an administrative assistant. I haven't had an administrative assistant for 3 years. As soon as I got there, I just had to go into the clerk's office. And we do other things to just try and make it all work smoother. And again, each town runs a little different. If you brought in 70 different people here, you'd find 70 different little structures for administration. It's mostly I know Pownal's been talking about this for a while, so what is it, that you're looking for, and what are the concerns you have about having someone come in? What is the concerns about having a chief administrative officer? Whether it's, you get into the semantics of the manager or the administrator, there's, like I said, there's some issues with having a manager because there's statutory requirements. The administrator is a much broader type of thing. So, if there's questions about it or what your concerns are, I know a lot of towns are concerned about losing control, but I tell you, from the administrator's point of view, that's sort of one of the few things we can do is fire someone on our own, which I'm welcome not to have. I'll be glad to bring that to the board and let them do that. The other thing is, we can't, administrators and good managers just don't go out and buy things and make decisions and enter into contracts. We have the discussions on these things. We have a purchasing policy where we follow the amount that I'm going to purchase. Under $1,000 is kind of incidental things, so we'll just take care of that. But anything to a certain amount, we have discussions on, but everything goes to the board. In the 2 meetings a week, so nothing is purchased without the board knowing. No contracts can be entered into legally without the board approving them.
Did you say 2 meetings a week?
A month. We have 2 meetings a month. Yes.
Yeah, they only meet twice.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Go ahead.
One of my thinking on all of this is there's so many things that come down from the state. We all, as you said, have full-time jobs outside. We come in, we have to get up to speed on some things like that. My thinking is that an administrator would be able to do the prep work for that, to advise us on legal statutes, grants, different things.
And I agree with that. That's one of the key roles is we've had a lot of things to do with the state lately. With I know you have some PFOA issues down here, and we had those. And there's a lot of information that has to go back and forth. We have a capped landfill. I'm responsible for monitoring that all the time. I go test for the methane. One of those odd roles that somehow is wrapped into my job. I'm a methane tester, so I go to the landfill. But there's a lot of documents from the state. A lot of information comes from the state, especially via email, and it all has to be read and figured out whether or not it's worthwhile to get into. And some of it that comes in just so frequently, but you see it and like this could be good. I just picked up a grant out of nowhere we're rebuilding our garage and our transfer station, and I needed a silly thing like a shed for the compost, and there was something to get me $3,000 for a shed for a compost. So you never know what you'll find when you're looking around for these things.
That's what we're always afraid of, is missing a grant or something that we could get.
It's really, like I said, the administrator post, as the manager's post, it's really a coordination point for the elected officials, because you all have full-time jobs. And it's hard to keep track and keep up with everything. And you have, we have a lot of roads, and we have issues with those that have to be dealt with. I assist with Public Works, which we're turning that into a new department, as I said. So there's just a lot of things that continually come up, and day-to-day things need to be dealt with.
How about personnel and hiring and paperwork on personnel files?
I'm the human resources manager too.
Yeah.
So I do all the advertising. I do all the advertising for everything. I start the initial interviews. We always whittle people down and only bring in like the last road crew person we've hired. Myself and the foreman, we interviewed everyone, and the assistant foreman interviewed everyone. We got it down to 3 people, and then we had the select board come in. Because the select board, again, is the ultimate hiring authority. We have no authority to hire anyone. But we can take a lot out of it by not having, you have to come in and interview everybody.
I mean, I guess one of the things I look at, we have people come in here to us that work our transfer station, work our road, and we have them come in and do monthly reports to us and so forth. Do they do that, or does the administrator in Shasberry come in and provide those reports by working and managing those people?
The only report that we have somewhat is the road foreman's report, but most of the time I'm doing that also. And it's mainly as we move more into, again, the whole public works facility, I have to be a lot more involved with everything going on there. And frankly, it's easier for me to make the report than to pay someone to come down to make the report.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're tying up his time when he could be doing something else.
His time when he could be doing something else, and his time, you know, you get into the winter, and Steve's been plowing for 12 hours, he'd like to go home. You know? I kind of agree with that. I don't blame him. He would like to go home.
Yeah.
And then there's, if we get questions in advance, and this comes from, again, you don't operate in a vacuum. I have selectmen calling every day and sending me emails, and I get back to them. And if you know, a selectman calls and says, "What is going on over here?" I go find out what's going on over there, and let them know. And if something needs to be remedied, it gets remedied. But if you don't have, you know, the mechanism set up, people wait, and it's taxpayers waiting. And essentially, you know, that's the structure. Those people will elect you, and you need someone to go to make sure that this is all getting done.
By the structure that you put together, how does the twice a month meetings work? Are they adequate to meet the needs?
Oh, absolutely. Because what it does is I can summarize a lot, and because I'm dealing with it on a daily basis, I can shorten it up a great deal, and I can communicate either individually, or we just put out some of the paperwork you have here for this meeting, and you'll get it several days in advance, and the meeting's set and can go pretty quickly.
Do you have a twin brother?
No, I have 8 brothers, but they're all bald. So.
They don't know anything about town stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot. It's basically you just need to decide what structure you want it to be, how big it wants to be. The administrator role, which is probably more applicable here, is and kind of like I said, an open canvas. How many things do you want it to be? I look at things that, what other things can I add into where I am? And it'd be great to bring in an assistant because that would have less to do. But you know, that's
Job description.
yes, we have, but it's not really as fleshed out as you might think.
We had a copy of it. We had a copy of yours and
yeah.
Several other towns, and then we thought we'd have to make one of our own for whatever we wanted.
And a good way for you to do that when you have your parameters set down is to contact the LCT and have them work with you to set up a proper description for exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's where we got those job descriptions. She sent them to us.
And you know, you can go on almost the bigger towns will have these directly online, but I mean, which is what I mean how broad it can be, because you can have an administrator in like Williston that's really of no relation to here. But if you look at the towns of similar populations, you can go through, and then you have to kind of judge which town. Like you'll have, well, let's say Woodstock, but Woodstock is dealing in a whole different environment than like Shaftesbury is dealing in. They have all the tourism things where we don't have it. But you know, there's different roles that you can find in different towns that are applicable here. And like I said, if you go around, the zoning administrator is also the administrator. You know, all these kind of different jobs. One has the health officer who's the town administrator too. So you know, it's what you want to roll in and how much you need done and coordinate.
Do you have in Shasbury, do they have a health officer and a zoning administrator?
Yes, we do. And I was the zoning administrator, and we have a zoning administrator now, but it depends on the work volume and deciding, but it's not impossible to do things like that. And Hartford, their person does quite a number of different things. Very well compensated though. So, I guess that's right.
Makes a difference.
I had 2 questions, now I forgot one of them.
Okay.
So are you hired on a contractual basis? Or?
No, and some are, and again, this is just something you can work out. Some are, I'm not overly concerned about it. That's just my point of view. I was semi-retired when I got back in this. Like I said, at the time I was working as the zoning administrator for Shaftesbury and Sunderland, and I just decided I would get back in this. I had that graduate degree later. I'm going to put it to use.
And you say that you work from home a lot with your laptop and
Yeah.
things. How many hours a week do you spend
I'm in
the
the
office?
building 40 to 45 hours a week because with the meetings and everything else, and I like coming early. I like to be there when the road crew arrives, and I'm usually there to when they leave. But what I mean by the laptop is, especially at budget
If you have
time,
to go.
I like sitting at home with the football game on and seeing how I can move the numbers to get it to come into, make it a little cheaper. But that's just me. That's what I do. And I learned when I was, in law enforcement in New Jersey. When I went on vacation back in the days when you didn't have cell phones and laptops and everything, you'd come back and my bureau would have a whole bunch of stuff going on. It was like, so now I like bringing the laptop because I can see all the emails for the day, and I can sit wherever I am, and just anything important I can just back to. A lot of it I'll say I'll be back next week.
Right.
And it's just I just like
Emails I like a lot.
and I just like keeping up. I don't like falling behind, and if anything major goes on, I can know what's going on.
Stay on top of it.
Yeah. That's just me. And I do like bringing it home when it gets real busy because I can just, like I said, during budget season, I can just sit and play with numbers at my own leisure without the phone ringing.
Well, you come highly recommended to us, and I've heard a lot of good things about your work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
How many employees do you have in Shaftesbury?
We have.
Just out of curiosity.
I'm trying to separate the full and part-time. We have 6 in the highway department, the Department of Public Works. To stop saying highway department. We have 2 listers, contractual assessor, the town clerk, the assistant town clerk, the treasurer. We do have a bookkeeper, and then we rolled all the other jobs in. Because we used to have more people in water and rec, but we're making that all into the 6 people who used to be the highway department. And, it's funny, simple things like the park. We have a Howard Park, which is a lot of acreage. But it's amazing what going out making a little investment in a high-powered Toro, that park gets done in like a quarter of the time it was before. And that's saving money on men, and it's a lot quicker turnaround.
Are your listers hired or
They're elected listers.
They're elected.
We have 2 elected listers. Well, 3. I'm sorry, 3 elected listers now. But we've had since before I got there. There was a paid assessor, and we just hired a new one this past winter, and basically he's doing most of the work with the listers, and the listers are in the support role. But that's a change that's going on, I think, throughout the state, because assessing is becoming a difficult role.
Yeah.
And we have a very good one. So can't have him either.
I was going to ask the question, is he full-time?
No. He actually is kind of like what I was doing with zoning. You cobble together several towns.
Okay.
So he works in Shaftesbury on Wednesdays. I don't want to say other towns. I think I know what towns he works for, but I don't want to say one that he doesn't.
Yeah, but then he works for others.
Yeah, and he has contracts with several towns, and that's how you make a career out of it. It's there's a number of roles, like I was trying to do with zoning. You find several towns, and you're the zoning administrator for each town for a little bit. You have someone who has a lot more experience because they're doing it so often and in different settings, and it's a benefit to everybody. In my opinion.
Okay, well, we thank you for coming down.
Sure, absolutely,
Certainly
no problem.
very interesting and helpful.
If there's any question, I'd be glad to get back and make recommendations to you for anything. But like I said, the main thing that I always hear is a concern of like loss of control for the taxpayers. But as long as the taxpayers are electing the board,
Right.
the administrator isn't doing anything without the board's approval.
Right.
And we instituted, we have so many oversights now. I started a Sullivan Powers audits us every year. So everything goes all the way back to the orders from the board, the warrants. So everything, there's no power in the administrator. You just need someone who can be organized and keep the town running and look for those ways to save money. But all the power still rests at the board table, and the responsibility ultimately to the taxpayers.
And you said you don't collect the delinquent taxes?
No, Merck Snow is the delinquent tax collector.
Right.
And the manager of the town can be the delinquent tax collector. I believe the administrator can be too. I know they are in some towns, but I'm not sure what structure that's
Right.
in. But again, those are things you can look at. It turns out I am responsible for the water collection, because I just had to sign some papers for that. We have some delinquent water bills. But, there's lots of, like I said, there's lots of options. It depends on the volume, and sometimes that's just gonna take getting someone in, getting the system up and running, and seeing how much time there is to do everything. And from a standstill, that could be a little hard to determine right off the bat.
Do you have town sewer?
No, we don't. Wish we did.
Have town water though.
Town water. We have a small water system. It's actually North Bennington's water. We have a tap into it. We have 306 customers, I think it is, 316. There was talk of a sewer. People in the village would love to have a sewer. It'd be good for economic development too. But as you can imagine,
They're so spread out,
the
too.
expense is quite high.
It cost us about, what, 26 million, somewhere around? 28
Yeah.
to do it here.
Fortunately, there's a part, I think it's, well, I'm not sure what road it's down, but we can get to a connection, but building the infrastructure,
To get their pumps and stuff.
pumps and to the houses and down all the streets. And of course, that's the village, and the people who don't live and aren't gonna have a sewer, they're not gonna be contributing to that. And they're not gonna volunteer to build,
Well, they're not gonna
which
be,
is,
they're not gonna be happy to contribute to that.
yeah. So,
There's a different, there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
different way.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be a nice driver for development downtown, but, big, it's big.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks
Thank you
again
so
very
much
much.
for
Okay,
coming
all right,
in. Thanks for
thank you.
taking
Nice
your
meeting you
time.
all.
Yeah.
Okay,
Really
take care.
appreciate
Take
it.
care. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, seeing as how we got the road foreman here, we might as well take that first. So he can leave if he
The
wishes.
dash of that is done.
What, you're here to look at applications? What up?
Yeah.
I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is everything left just executive session now? There's the road crew, the legal, and
Looks like a
Contracts.
and
contract.
contracts, the sheriff.
Maybe Bill had something to say.
Maybe Bill had something to say.
Do you have anything to say? No?
Goodbye, that's what he had to say.
He said goodbye.
Just
Nice
to be
guy.
alive together. Right?
Bill, are you're going back upstate?
2021,
Oh, so you got 2 days, you gotta go back?
yeah,
And then you're done for the summer?
I hope so.
Unless they
We
extend.
haven't seen Brian. I said, geez, are they all still upstate? We haven't seen Brian Campion at the college in a
I'm
while.
sure he's around, but
Yeah.
I don't know where. I don't know, it's just, I
They've got-
don't have his calendar.
No, but
I'm
I
gonna say
figured if he's up there, you're up there too.
Yeah, no, we finished up, my God, it was really, really late Thursday night, into Friday morning, I guess it's 2 weeks ago. But then there's all these things going on,
Yeah.
and there will be more.
And the governor vetoed the marijuana bill and sent it back.
Marijuana,
Yeah, I was kinda surprised at that, but that's okay. Okay, I'll get a motion to go into executive session.
Jason made it.
So moved. I already made it.
Did I
I'll
get a
second
second,
it.
did I? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Need a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to hire Bruce Burrington at $16.21 an hour and to get full benefits right away. And he needs to take based on him passing a physical exam.
I'll make it. So move.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, take a motion to go into executive session. It's
I'll
time
make a
to do
motion to
legal.
go in executive session for legal.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.